Hello, welcome to today's math lesson. This is grade 4, unit 3, topic 5. All right, let's get going. You need to get out your capture sheet. Okay, it says word problem lesson capture sheet, unit 3, topic 5, day 1. Our objective today is practice all the unit 3 concepts we've learned using word problems. So what are those concepts that we're going to be looking for? Reducing fractions to lowest terms, converting decimals to fractions, and then fractions to decimals, explain repeating decimals, performing operations on fractions and decimals, and ordering fractions and decimals. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to talk about is some keywords for word problems, because that is always what we look for when we're doing word problems. Okay, this should work. Yeah. So this is what the top of your capture sheet should look like. All right. There's a little grid here that you can see, and it has some keywords for each operation and for ordering and converting. Okay, so I'm going to write those with you. So addition, we're going to talk about, let's write these down. Addition, we're going to talk about how much in total. Okay, subtraction is how much more, how much is left. Multiplication, how many equal groups. Also, a really important one is of. So if I say something like 3/4 of that is multiplication. Okay, then division, how many times does blank go into blank? We'll talk more about division. You're not going to see a ton of division here. Okay, then for ordering, oh, I'm sorry, this isn't an order. So for converting, you'll see like something as a decimal or something as a fraction. Usually you'll need to convert to get to whatever your final answer is. And ordering, which is larger, which is smaller. Okay. Or greater than, less than, equal to. Alrighty, let's get going to our next slide. So again, if something asks for half of something, that's multiplication. So of is a big multiplication indicator. And a tip, if there's a whole number in the problem, you write it like this. Okay, 35 is the same as 35 over 1, right? Because it's 35 wholes. Then you can do that fraction multiplication. Okay, so here are some practice problems that we're going to work on together. This is what's on your capture sheet. Okay, we're going to use this method that we always like to use, in which we sort of start with me showing you, then we do them together, then you do them on your own. And that's sort of like you working towards doing these problems on your own, which is our goal here. Okay. Oops, sorry. I don't like when it does that. Okay, that's what I want. So again, our skills here are operations and converting. That's not really the important thing here. So our directions say solve each word problem. Okay, Howie ate, I'm so sorry. Howie ate 0.75 of the pizza. What fraction is left? So this is a little tricky, right? Because you need to figure out how much is left. So let's talk about this. I'm going to use marker so it's easy for you to see this. Okay, so Howie ate 0.7 of the pizza, 0.75. We can use our RDW. Okay, you know that 0.75 of the pizza. So he started with one whole pizza, minus 0.75. Add your decimal places. This is a subtraction problem. Okay? When you subtract, this is what you'll get. Okay? So that's our answer. That's how much is left. But the question wants to know how much is left. 0.25 as a fraction equals 1/4. Okay, here's another way that you could have done this. Let's say maybe you know that an entire pizza is 4/4 and 0.75 is 3/4. You could subtract 4/4 minus 3/4 equals 1/4, and then you would have your final answer. Either way you do it, whether you do the operation with decimals or with fractions, either way your final answer will be 1/4. Take a minute to write this down if you are still writing. You can always pause if you need to, and you can always rewind if you have to. All right. Next question here. On my paper, I'm not sure about yours, but on my paper, the little vinculum is off from where it's supposed to be. It should be over the 4, but on the slide it's right. Mark away 0.4 repeating of a cake. Sophie ate 1/2 of a cake. Who ate more and how much more? So you can tell that this one is going to be ordering, right? Because it's which one is bigger, which number is bigger. Okay. And then it's also an operation. Do you know what operation it is? It's subtraction because it wants to know how much more. Okay. So, do you know which one is bigger, 0.4 repeating or 1/2? Not the way it is. You need to get them to be both decimals or both fractions. 0.4 repeating and 1/2. 1/2 equals 0.5. So when you compare these, 0.4 repeating and 0.5, you know that this one's going to be bigger. Let's say you wanted to compare them as fractions though. 0.4 repeating is 4/9. Okay, but we can't compare halves and ninths. We look for the LCD, lowest common denominator, and that is 18. Okay, 9/18 versus 8/18. You'll see that the 9/18 is bigger, that's the 1/2. Okay, so we can begin to write our final answer. That Sophie ate more. However, we're not done with the question because it's kind of a sneaky little two-step problem. Who ate more? So we have an option to do our subtraction. We can either do it with the decimals or do it with the fractions. But I see a little roadblock. We can't do it with the decimals because you can't do operations with decimals when you have this repeating decimal. So we need to use the fractions. Okay. So since Sophie ate more, this is 1/2 minus 4/9. We can't do that because we need to have common denominators. Luckily for us though, we already found these common denominators, right? The 1/2 becomes 9/18, right? The work is right here. 4/9 becomes 8/18. Subtract, and our answer is 1/18. So Sophie ate more, 1/18 more cake. And that would be your final answer. All right, on these next ones, you're going to start to work a little bit more on your own. Okay, again, I have our picture here, and I will work through it with you. I want you to try this one, not quite on your own, but we're going to get there. First, let's think about what the question is asking. Go ahead and read it. Okay, you should be done reading. Maddie baked 48 cookies. Lulu ate 1/3 of the cookies. How many cookies are left? I see a very, very major key word here, of. When we're dealing with these problems, of means multiplication. Okay, that was a big hint I just gave you. Multiplication. So thinking about multiplication and knowing that you can change whole numbers into fractions by putting them over 1, go ahead and answer this problem. All right, good job. Let's see if you got the right answer. Lose weight 1/3 of the 48 cookies. And since it's 48, it can be 48 over 1. That's the exact same thing. 48 thirds. We can't leave that like that. We need to reduce. Okay, and when we do reduce, we get something over 1. Is that right? We get 16 over 1, I believe. Now, maybe you remembered that when you multiply by a fraction, when you multiply by a unit fraction like 1/3, it's the same as dividing. Okay, so maybe you remembered that you could do this, 48 divided by 3. You could do that math. Oh, sorry. Oh gosh. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself here. All right, and you would get 16. Okay, and that's the same here because, right, no remainder. That's the same here because 16 over 1 is the same as 16. I would expect you to leave it like this, not like this, okay? So 16 cookies are left. Okay. Alrighty. The next one is a little bit trickier. Okay, but I think you can do it on your own. Let's read. In a fight at school, 1/8 of Harry's magic wand exploded. As a decimal, how much of the wand is left? Okay, so okay, I want you to go ahead and try this problem. Ready, go. Okay, cool. I'm glad you tried the problem. If you didn't exactly understand how to do it, I will go through the problem. And if at any point you think, oh, now I get it, just go ahead and pause and finish it on your own. Okay? So Harry started with 1 whole magic wand, right? So he had 1. And then 1/8 of it exploded. So we can subtract 1/8. To do that though, we need to change our all our numbers into fractions, and they need to have common denominators. 8/8 minus 1/8 equals 7/8. We're not done yet, okay, because we don't know, or because the question asks for our final answer as a decimal. You can convert that and get 0.875. Here's another way that you could have attacked that problem. Perhaps you noticed that the question said as a decimal, and you thought, well, let's just do all the work as decimals because we can. That would be fine. You would have 1 minus 1/8 as a decimal is 0.125. We do our subtraction vertically, and we subtract. No, we subtract, and we would get 0.875. Same thing. Either way, you get the same answer. It's just important to always reread this question when you finish. Remember SQR3? The last R stands for review. So you review the question and you review your work to make sure that you actually answer the question. Right? ATQ, answer the question. Okay. Alrighty. Here's our next question. This is the last one with me on the capture sheet. The next ones you'll just be doing on your own. Okay, Dumbledore's beard is 23.05 inches long. It grew to be 1/2 of its original length longer. That's a little confusing, okay? So it was this long, and then half of its original length, it got that much longer, okay? How long is Dumbledore's beard now? This is a little confusing, okay? So, this is a two-step word problem. Our first step is to figure out what half of its original length was. And our second step is to figure out the new length of it, okay? So let's just do this one, okay? 23.05 times 1/2, because we have of, okay? Since we have mixed decimals and fractions, I think that this is easier to go. You could do either, but I think it's easier to do decimals. Okay, so 23.05 times 0.5, because 1/2 just becomes 0.5. As we do this, I have to do this with you. We will get this. But remember, up here we've got 2 decimal places, and here we've got 1 decimal place. That's a total of 3 decimal places. 1, 2, 3. There's our decimal point. So that number is 11.525. Cool. That's not our final answer yet, okay? That's not our final answer because it doesn't want to know how much longer it got. This is how much longer it got. It wants to know the new length of the beard, okay? So to do that, we just add the old length plus the new length, lining up our decimal points. Again, you could convert these to fractions, but that's kind of ugly, and anything 0.525, that's not an eighths or anything, so I think it's easier to just stay with decimals. Okay, then we do our addition, keeping our decimal place lined up. Okay, and adding this placeholder zeros like that when we need to. And then this is going to be our final answer, this 34.575. When it doesn't tell you if it wants your final answer as a fraction or a decimal, it's best to just leave it as whatever the original number was, okay? This original number was a mixed decimal, okay? So 34.575 inches. Okay, so that's the new length, and you can always circle it or box it. This is going to be the end of this video, but you do have 2 more problems to do. They are on your capture sheet on the back, and I would like you to go ahead and try these problems, typing your answers into here. Okay, bye. I hope this video helped. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. And good luck on your practice that you'll be doing this weekend. Bye.